Okay, so Tuesday video, the first section is factor the expression completely. So if you have, let's see, 5x cubed minus x. You got to think about what they have in common. And remember, factoring is like dividing, okay? So if I think about this has a 5, an x, and an x, and an x, and this one has an x, right? Well, they have a x in common, don't they? And really, I can say this has a number, a -1, right? So I can factor that x out, divide it out, and I'm left with 5x squared minus 1. And I think that pretty much does all of those. So section 2 might look like 54 x plus 9. So they don't have an x in common in this situation, but you gotta think about 54 and 9 then. Well, 54 can be divided by 9, right? So if I divide each of these things by 9, I'm taking that 9 out. And so I get 6x plus 1. And remember that when you're done, if you take your answer and multiply it, 9 times 6 is 54x plus 9. You should get right back up. Same up here. 5x squared times x gives me 5x cubed. -1 times x gives me -x. It should get you back up to the beginning. Let's see. I am just looking to make sure I hit all. Okay, so let's look at section 3. Well, and do another page. Section 3. Section 3 could look like xy squared plus x cubed y to the 4th. So if I think about what these guys have in common, well, if I write down here, I can write this one is a x times y, and this one is an x, y, 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 y. Well, if I'm looking, they have one x in common, don't they? And they have 2 y's. So if I take them out, factor them out, divide them out, it's all the same words. I can write it that way. And then what I have left, well, is a 1, right? Plus, over here, I have 2 x's, so x squared, and I have 2 y's, so y squared. And that's my answer. The 4th section factor completely. This is the difference of perfect squares, okay? So perfect squares. X squared minus 25. So if you think about that, x squared has a square root, and 25 has a square root, right? So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5. So what I'm going to say is x minus 5 and x plus 5. And that's all there is to factoring differences of squares. So, and if I think about this, if I multiply it back out using the box method, I get x squared plus 5x minus 5x minus 25. Do you see how these two things are going to cancel each other? And I'm just left with that x squared minus 25. That's why you have to have the minus in one and the plus in the other. So let's do a new one. Let's do one where the number comes first. So let's do 64 minus x squared. Same thing. Square root of 64 is 8. Square root of x squared is x. So I get 8 minus x and 8 plus x. Now, section 5 is still the difference of squares, but they get a little bit more complicated, or a little bit more. They're not bad. It's just they're adding a number in front of x squared. So let's think about 4x squared minus 36. So the square root of 4x squared is 2x, and the square root of 36 is 6. So I'm getting 2x minus 6 and 2x plus 6. Actually, there's a little more to that problem, but you don't have any like that in here, so I'm not going to go into that. Another example would be let's see, 36x squared y to the 4th minus 1. So let's think about this for a second. Square root of 36 is 6. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of y to the 4th is y squared. Square root of 1, believe it or not, is 1. So I have 6xy squared minus 1 and 6xy squared plus 1. Another one might be 49x squared minus y to the 6th. So the square root of 49 is 7x, and the square root of y to the 6th is y cubed. They work a little differently, the letters. So 7x minus y cubed and 7x plus y cubed. The last section is factor completely. So let me get a new page here. I don't know what was this, section 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Section 6. So this is factor completely, and you might have 30x squared plus 15. All right, so you're looking for what these guys have in common. Well, 30 and 15 can both be divided by 15. So I can factor a 15 out. I'm left with 2x squared plus 1. And those are how you do that section. I hope this helps.